Hi YouTube, Mason Sushi here, and I decided to do a video on multicarts. I did a little video on multicarts talking about new systems and how, like with the God of War and what games should be put on modern systems for multicarts. And I started thinking, just a general kind of overview discussion of multicarts and kind of seeing where they've come to now is a pretty good idea. And so in no particular order. One of the earliest multicarts that I own personally are the NES. I don't generally collect anything older than the NES. I do have a few 70, 150, 200 games and stuff like that, but you can see I really kind of went on a collecting tangent, and I've shown these in other videos in my unlicensed game stuff. But multicarts, these are generally made in, or at least for the NES was concerned, in China. You can see where they try to cram, this is on my crummy camcorder, but, it has Ghostbusters 2, G.I. Joe 2, Super Mario Brothers 3. They try to cram a whole bunch of games. This one's a 13-in-1. But, one of the best things, and you won't really be able to tell, but the artwork, it sometimes doesn't depict the game at all. Like, it's really cheesy. Sometimes they'll post pictures of games that aren't even on the cart itself. Or they'll have names of games that aren't on there. And then they grow in size. Here's an 82-in-1. This one doesn't have its thing on it. But the multi-carts was a great way that they tried to sell you multiple games on one cartridge, so you didn't have to go and buy them. Now, this one's made. Who makes this one? I can never remember. But there's the 4-in-1 Sport, 4-in-1 Adventure. They have a 4-in-1 Sports. I think I'm missing that one. Here's the Action 52, which everyone's familiar with this shape because on the back of the other one is Cheetahman 2, which isn't a multi-cart. They just use the same shell. But you can see how the multi-carts, they just use all sorts of fun pictures of that. Obviously, it's inspired by Contra. And it looked like at some point it had the list of games in the back, but before I got it, someone scratched it off, I guess, to open it up. And then, they made 4-in-1s and stuff like that. But they would sell these games for like, $100 some bucks, $100, $200, and they're claiming for $200 you get 100 games. Well, it comes out, a very good buy. But in all reality, the games generally were hacks, and the ones that were on there kind of sucked anyway. But like this Joker, 260-in-1, thing's heavy. But you won't be able to read that at all. But like you have like 5 versions of like Mario Brothers and junk like that. So, I mean, it says 260-in-1, but really it's not 200 unique 61 games. Anyway, but then you could see in, they even repackaged the same thing. See, like, this is the Famicom version. I actually did a little review earlier in my YouTube stuff on this. And then you could see here's the one for the NES, the exact same game. It actually has the same label. You can see. And all they literally did was took this board and shoved it in here, in a black case. And they even went so far as to kind of, get their own molds and stuff sometimes. And here's the exact same game again with a different label. It has the exact same, game on here anyway. So the NES for me was one of the first things I ever got involved in multi-carts and stuff. And see, here's, of course, the most iconic multi-cart, especially for the NES generation. But pretty much I consider of all time Mario Duck Hunt. And anyway, so you get the NES, but I believe every major console, and I do use the word major, I don't consider minor, console that's come out since then, has had a multi-cart on it. If not, at least one, maybe more. Now, you can go over from the NES to, like, the Master System, which, has Hang On and Safari Hunt. And the multi-cart is a great way to save money and test out other games, And from the Master System, the 16-bit generation starts up with Genesis. This is just one of many multi-carts for the Genesis. Had the 6-in-1 pack and stuff like that. So I just brought an example out to show you. This one has Hang On, Soccer, and Columns all on one cart, which is cool. There's the little pictures of the cartridges up there. But so you have that, and then you move on into the Super Nintendo. Now, I'll be honest, I can't remember of too many multi-carts for that. So you have the All-Stars. And with the All-Stars, you also had All-Stars and World Cart, which was just like this, but they added the world on it. Trying to think. I think they had a Tetris Dr. Mario cart as well, which I don't own. And so you move from that generation, and then you start up with a PlayStation generation. And with that, you also include the Sega CD and this 32X. Truthfully, this is kind of a fake, because I know it's a real game, but as far as Multicart, considering they're on 2 separate discs in one package, so that's kind of not on one disc, but it's still one package. You have that, and then you have the Saturn. Now, I don't have very many Saturn games. The only Saturn Multicart I have is an import of Dungeons and Dragons. So I really like this arcade game. But as you can see, you can keep going up. You got the PlayStation, Saturn. I got the N64 representation here with the Namco, and you can go on up to, PlayStation 2 with the Metal Slugs. I bring some up over here to show, for example, like the Legends, the Gradius 1 and 2, the Treasures. Actually, I really encourage people that like multi-cart games, and these PlayStation 2 ones are actually really good. The Midway collection's a fantastic collection for your money. The Taito Legends, I didn't even open it. That's still sealed. But, they're really good games to pick up to expand your library. And these are 2 of my most favorite ones that are out, and I actually have these on another system as well, the Metal Slug and SNK. I bought those on another system. So, you go through that. Oh, I didn't bring my Xbox One out. Anyway, I have some for the Xbox, but anyway, so the Game Boy Advance isn't even out by because that's a Phantasy Star collection. So every system has its own collection of games. Now, what you want to do is you want to find the one that has your best interest involved. So, for instance, like if you like adventure games, try to find a multi-cart with lots of adventure games on it. It's a great way to save money. So, let's go over here to the GameCube. Here has the Sonic Gems, the Mega Man X collection, of course the Zelda and Zelda 2 carts. What else? You have the GameCube, the Xbox, which I didn't do, the PS2. The next generation would be, I guess, the PSP with the Dracula on there. So that has Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood, on this one disc. And then I guess you would move on to the more current generation, which would be the 360 stuff, which I only have a couple here. But the Raiden Fighters, Raiden Ages. This is a great game if you like shoot 'em ups. This is a fantastic. It has Fighters, Fighters 2, and Fighters Jet. Got a wicked glare, but there's the 3 games up top. This is a great game, and you can actually pick this up from GameStop for like $10 now or something used. So I suggest picking that up. And then you have the bundled games, which like this one is the Superstars Tennis, and on the other side the arcade, which in of itself is a multi-cart of 5 games itself. So this one package has 6 games in it. And so you have that, and then you can move over to the PS3 games, which is the Star Wars Complete Saga, which includes the Star Wars 1 and Star Wars 2 Lego collection. The God of War collection, which I already kind of discussed in another video, and one of the best buys this whole console generation is the Sega Genesis Ultimate Genesis collection. This thing has like 45 games on it, and they're all quality games. They might have 1 or 2 filler titles, but for the most part, it's pretty solid. I highly suggest anyone that likes the Sega Genesis is a must-buy. And if you're even kind of considering a couple of the games, like, Altered Beast and Golden Axe, my brother-in-law loves those 2 games, and hell, you can buy this thing for like $10-15 now. And it's almost worth the price of admission just for those 2 games alone. So, and then you go over to the Wii, which here's the other 2. They released the same game, SNK and Metal Slug, on the Wii and PS2. And I have the exact same one here on the PS2 and Wii. Yeah, I'm a nerd. Buying the same game on multiple systems. And then they recently released Mario All-Stars. Well, you know what this is? This is nothing more, and I mean nothing more, than the port of this cartridge on the Wii. That's what it is. This is the exact same game. They took a 15-year-old, well, maybe a 13-year-old game, and stuck it, just literally ported it Now, I would have wished they would have done the one with the Mario World on it from the Super Nintendo, instead of taking the remakes of 1, 2, 3 and Lost Levels and sticking it on here. I also wish this disc had a little more features, personally considering, but this was nothing more than a virtual console download on a disc. I mean, I bought it, I can't say anything, so I just got suckered like everyone else, but it's kind of sad. It's a great buy if you want those games, but I already own 1 Lost Levels and 3 on virtual console download. So, I mean, I bought this just for collector reasons. I actually have another one sealed. But, I mean, the whole idea of multicarts, for game systems are fantastic. I think multicarts is a good way forward. I think that's what's going to be used to preserve the current and past generations of games. Game collecting, I think, will reach its peak, I don't think in 20 years you'll still have many game collectors. I think just with the way games are moving now to more download and less stuff, I think you'll find game collecting become a smaller and smaller hobby. Even arcades couldn't get away from the multi-cart. I actually did buy the Neo Geo 150-in-1 to kind of sample a whole bunch of games from an arcade cabinet. Anyone that's watched my videos on that. So just the whole idea and the whole notion of multi-carts, I personally think has been one of the most fantastic things. I believe there probably were multi-carts on the Atari and even earlier than that. I'm just not too knowledgeable on them, so I can't speak on them much. But, just the idea of having multiple games on one cartridge or one disc is just, I personally think, the way of the future. I think in the next console generation you'll see repackaging of mini games from the Xbox 360 era and PS3 era on one disc. I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't see the next generation like Uncharted, Uncharted 2, and Uncharted 3 on one disc or something like that, just to preserve the games. I mean, like this Genesis collection, they were selling these games individually on the network for $5 each. Well, shit, you can buy 40 of them for $15. It came out at $40. So I mean, hell, even at $40, it's still a steal if you like them. Get off the glare. But, this is how the games will be preserved. The cartridges that you find on the shelves and at the flea market, I'd like to say they'd be, they'd preserve it, but most people won't have the means to play them. The kids that are born now in 15 years, when they're 15 years old, aren't going to track down an original Sega Genesis to play them on. Now, maybe if their father or mother, by that time's older, I'm in my early 30s. Another 15 years, when my daughter's old enough to really kind of play, she'll be 15 to 17. I'll be 50-some years old. So, I just don't see them being able to go out and just hunt one down at a flea market or something. So these will be the only way that the next generation will be able to play some of these classic games we talk about. And even then, in 15 years, would they really want to play them? I think our best bet as gamers is to try to build the compilations of the best games we can get and pass that on in hopes that future generations will be able to play it. Because, again, I don't think they'll track down individual cartridges or the systems. So moving stuff forward onto new media and collections is the way of the future. I think that's how game collecting is going to have to move. As far as game collecting goes, I don't know how much it'll be collectible, but game playing, that's the game playing of the future. So kids and adults in the future can actually get back and play some of these old games that are the foundation of the games they're playing currently. And, games always build on themselves. So what we're building now is the new stuff will be old hat. It'll be the old stuff, in 10 years. So, anyway, that's my opinions and my ramblings. I don't edit my videos, so I sound stupid half the time. But you get a feel for multi-carts and what's involved in them. A lot of the earlier ones were done, in, like I said, in China and stuff. And then as they found that people were willing to pay for multi-carts and the marketing that you could do on multi-carts, it became more of the norm, and now everyone past that were making, multi-carts for their systems. As always, thank you for watching. I apologize for the lack of videos coming out. I've had a lot of computer issues, and then Christmas and everything. I feel like I just apologize every time now on video. But I am really, really trying to do better, as hard as it is to believe. But please stay in tune, tell others, subscribe, and shoot me some ideas for videos, because I get kind of where I don't know what I want to do. Or I'll have an idea, plan to do it in a day or two, and then forget all about it. So let me know, guys. Till next time, catch you later.